Hello YouTube, this is now from the home gym, and basically what I've wanted to do is replicate the setup that I showed you the other day with the board, a pad, a foam block, and handles. Now these are the heavy duty bar handles. I do like them. They are tricky to get into, and you'll see that when I demonstrate that they're tricky to get into. But the thing I do like about these handles is that, one, I can use a 41-inch band, so I don't have to buy another. Well, I wouldn't have had to buy another set of bands. I have a set of, I think they are 34-inch clench bands here, whatever the shorter side. I think it might be 34 or 37. I do have the smaller size clench bands, but I don't need them for these handles. I need them for the, over there, the J. Bryant's, or if I use the Rip by Rosenblatt's, I need the shorter bands because I don't get a good, it's very loose on the bottom, let's just say. But with these are tight all the way through, so I get the tension I need. So that's very good. With the Harambe CyberPlate, my first attempt was, I believe, just like this. To me, that's not comfortable. I don't like it. I didn't like it. I didn't feel comfortable. So what I did was I did order a second pad, and this is the Hap Bear. I got it from Temu, I believe, but it is actually a nice foam, nice dense foam. I got this two-tone. I think this is one of the only ones available. I do have a thing for orange, so I have the orange block and I have this, but that's neither here nor there. Besides that, this feels good. So I've used this on my knees for when I do crunches up here, or I do military press with the. I do my military presses kneeling, like you saw in another video. So anyway, without much further ado, it's been 2 minutes already. Let's do the demo, and I will probably voice over because I don't feel like putting the mic on. So here we go. So as I described in the beginning, I'm using the Harambe CyberPlate with a pad from Temu. It's actually a very good pad, very thick. It's very comfortable. I'm using the Qlaw handles by Heavy Duty Bar. The thing I like about these handles is they do feel, I would say, almost the most like a actual dumbbell because of the two hooks on the end. They kind of simulate that weight, and of course the band that comes around. The other thing I like about these handles is that I can use a 41-inch band, whereas with other handles I have to shorten. I have to either use the 37. I don't really use the 34s or the 32s, but that would be your other option. And here I'm doing 20 reps. I found that with bands, higher reps feel better. I get a better workout out of them. I get a better pump. Whereas with weights, I would do 8 to 12. With bands, I do about 12 to 20. And if the band is feeling very light, I'll even go into the 30s and 40s. And then on the next set, I would just, advance the band. And then also I'd remember on the next workout to start with a higher band if I was able to get 30 or 40 comfortably. Okay, so here's the second set, and I'm using the Clench Purple 5100. I guess you can say it's like using two 50-pound dumbbells. I would say the feel is pretty accurate, pretty close to that. I'm getting another 20 reps out of this, it looks like. This angle, though, isn't that comfortable. Not as comfortable as the J. Bryant, but I don't think it's because of the handle. I think it's just because of the way the band itself kind of rubs across the pad. Oh, yeah. Woo. Okay, now we're on to the green band. Here's one of the things that make using these handles a little bit tricky, is that if you're not focused on holding both sides, because of the thickness of the band, sometimes the pull will bring everything out of alignment, as you just saw right there. And then you have to kind of reset up again. So one of the things I would say is, if I was to have a complaint, is that it's very tricky to get into position with these bands. And like I said, it's not as comfortable as using the J. Bryants, because J. Bryants, I think they're a little more linear and they don't rub as badly against the back. Now this, I would say, in my opinion, this band is a little too heavy. I am feeling challenged by this band, and it's probably less reps than I would like to do. Ultimately, I guess they did feel pretty good, but I kind of like I said, I kind of like to get more reps out of these sets because I think they feel better. So I only got 7 reps there. And now, since I'm not within a range that I like to do actually extra sets to make up for me not getting 12 or 20. So again, here I am setting up with the green band. So I just stay on that band and squeeze out as many sets as I feel will give me a good workout. So again, so tricky when the bands are heavy, because the pull, you're getting pulled on both sides, and then you kind of have to push out at the same time while you're getting in position. So this rep range is something that I would more do with weights. When I was doing weights, I was doing 4 by 6 on a straight set per body part. 4 by 6 to 8. And then if I got into 10 or 12, then I would advance the weight. That's basically how I did my progression with weights. So again, here's another set. So I got 7 and 6, so that's 13. So I guess this time I was either going for 20 or going for 15. So here we go. One thing I can tell is that each set is progressively tougher, so I know I'm actually getting some work there. So this is kind of ensuring that I get some exhaustion. So, and now that I'm 5 reps, so I can say, all right, we're done here. So let's say if my first set was 5 reps, I would probably just lower the band. But since I got 7, it's okay. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Okay, let's see if I can. Now here is an exercise that I basically think I made up. I call it the standing dip. There you see my J. Bryant handles. And basically what I do is I go against the higher anchor and I push down in a dip motion. I started doing these because dips have become difficult. I'm 56 and my joints just can't really handle dips anymore. So I do them like this, and I try to, again, go for anywhere between 12 and 20 reps. Again, I kind of lean toward the higher reps because I like I get a little bit of a good squeeze first. I feel like I'm getting a better squeeze of the muscle, and I also feel I'm getting a good burn. So that was my first set. Yeah, the thing about the dips, it's more of my joints that are giving out before the muscle, because even at this body weight here, when I was doing dips and I was able to do them, I was doing 20 dips, basically. For dips, I always like to do higher reps also. So let's say when I was doing weights, I was doing 4 sets per body part. I would do 4 by 6 to 8 on low incline chest press, and then I would finish off with dips to failure. And generally, it was in the 20 range. I never added weight, but I would say that the pre-exhaust from the workout was enough, and then I would just do as many dips as I could. And generally, that was about 20. I generally stop at 20. So that's the second set of dips. And this, with the dips, I used the same weight, I guess you could call it, the same resistance for all 3 sets. I feel like the dips are more of kind of almost like a pre-finishing exercise. Not quite a finishing exercise, but I just do the dips to get that work in. And, so one more thing. So this is my 3rd set. I'm using a purple band with a orange micro band. Because last time I guess I must have done purple, 3 sets of 20. So I had the micro band for a little bit of kind of like a micro progression. The thing with these bands, going from one band to another, generally sometimes the increments are too high. So what I've started doing is taking these interim bands and using those as micro weight, so to speak. So now for the last exercise, I'm doing chest flies. And this is with the clinch red. I have there 35 by 75, but it's actually 15 to 35, I believe. So it's a lightweight band. I guess my editing was not good on that. So, and you'll notice that this workout was just all chest. So I do. I just switched to one body part per workout, except for shoulders and arms. I do shoulders and arms together because they're smaller. But what I found was when I was doing a split with chest and arms, or let's say back and shoulders, I felt like the second exercise was getting cheated. And here again, you see me not paying attention. And once the resistance gets higher, I have to really focus on holding both handles and also pushing out at the same time when I get into position. Otherwise, this happens, and then I have to realign everything. So there we go. So now, and then I'm pushing out, and then getting into position. Still a little tricky. But what I was saying is, I felt I was cheating the second exercise. So now what I do is I do chest gets its own day, back gets its own day, legs get their own day, and then back and shoulders. So I generally work out 3 times a week. So it would be Monday, Wednesday, Friday generally. So I cycle 4 over those three days. So that's why I do so many exercises, because I know it's going to be at least a week before I get back to chest. I am finding this effective. It's giving me my body time to recover. Yeah, so that's all I have to say about that. And yeah, these chest flies, these are basically finishing exercise, doing 20 reps. And the thing I do like about this is, I guess if you're thinking in terms of, let's say, bodybuilding, you're kind of getting all these different angles of your chest, or parts of the chest that are emphasized. When I used to do weights, I was really mostly about getting strong in my exercises, so I would just do that 4 by 6, and that's all I did, just 4 sets per body part. But I would do Monday, Thursday, Tuesday, Friday split with squats and deadlifts on Wednesdays. And you'll see in the background there's my journal. I basically write every workout. I wish I had my old journals. I found some here and there. I know they're somewhere in some box somewhere. Hopefully one day I'll be able to find them and share them. Hey, if you're interested in me, how I journal, I could even do a video on that. Especially with bands. It's a little bit tricky to journal with bands. Maybe I'll show you that. Yeah, so I can see here those were burning. So I was, and that's what I go for. Is when I'm going for these 20 reps. Those were burning. So yeah, that's basically my workout.
Woo!
Over here again, this is just a review of what we did. And remember, on the first set of flies, the red band is lighter than it says there. So chest press, standing dip, and flies. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want to see any other body parts, I do have a leg video, and I'll try to put it up here at the end. And I actually did record back. But I don't remember if I recorded the whole workout. But I could do a back workout. I can do shoulder workouts. I think I did kind of a shoulder workout with the SS bar. But anyway, thanks for watching.